So, what if I told you the single biggest factor in your success has almost nothing to do with your technical skill? Today, we're jumping into Dale Carnegie's absolute classic, How to Win Friends and Influence People, to find the one core idea that honestly started a revolution in how we think about human relations.
It all starts with this number, 85%. This is the number that really got Dale Carnegie's attention, and it's the reason his famous book even exists. It completely flipped his understanding of what it really takes to get ahead in life.
You see, research that was actually backed by the Carnegie Foundation found something pretty shocking. Even for super technical people, like engineers, success was 85% about personality and the ability to lead people, and only 15% about technical knowledge. Just let that sink in for a second. The skill that mattered the most was the one that nobody was really teaching. And that realization, well, it sent Carnegie on a mission.
He saw this huge, unaddressed problem everywhere. You had all these professionals graduating with fancy degrees in their fields, but they were completely unprepared for the human side of their jobs. You know, the part that would determine 85% of their success. There was no playbook for it.
So his journey starts way back in 1912. He's teaching public speaking courses to adults in New York City, but he realized really quick that his students weren't just there to learn how to give better speeches. They were hungry for something way more fundamental.
And a big survey basically proved what he was seeing with his own eyes. Researchers asked a bunch of adults what they most wanted to study. Number one was health. Okay, that makes sense. But what was number two? It was this stuff: how to understand and get along with people, how to make people like you, and how to win them over to your way of thinking.
Carnegie knew exactly what his students were asking for, so he went looking for a practical, hands-on textbook about human relations that he could actually use in his classes.
And he found nothing. Zilch. Can you imagine that? The single most important skill for success, and there wasn't a single practical guide for it. So Carnegie figured, hey, if the book he needed didn't exist, he was just going to have to write it himself.
And through all his digging and research, one single, really powerful idea kept coming up. A simple concept that became the absolute core of his entire book. And he summed it up with a fantastic metaphor.
The idea is just so beautifully simple. Look, you might personally love strawberries and cream. I mean, who doesn't? But when you go fishing, you don't put your favorite dessert on the hook, right? No, you bait it with what the fish wants. And fish, as we all know, are much more into worms.
And this is the whole game right here. The only way to get anyone to do anything is to appeal to their needs, to talk about what they want, and then show them how your idea helps them get it.
It really is that straightforward. Before you can persuade anyone, you have to first spark an eager one in them. Think about it. Every single thing we do from the day we're born is driven by our own desires.
Carnegie tells this great story about the famous writer Ralph Waldo Emerson trying to get a little calf into a barn. He's pushing from behind, his son is pulling from the front, but the calf, it's only thinking about what it wants, so it just digs its heels in and refuses to move. Then their maid comes over, puts her finger in the calf's mouth like it's going to nurse, and gently leads it right into the barn. See? She gave the calf what it wanted, and in return, she got what she wanted.
Okay, so that's the big idea, bait the hook. But how does that actually work in the real world? Let's break down 3 specific rules from the book that put this whole principle into action.
All right, rule number 1, it's all about how we react to criticism. Carnegie says criticism is basically useless because it just puts the other person on the defensive, like immediately. It wounds their pride and just makes them dig in their heels and justify why they did what they did.
Even Abraham Lincoln, who was a master at this stuff, learned this lesson the hard way. During the Civil War, one of his generals, General Meade, let General Lee's army get away. Lincoln was furious. He wrote this absolutely scathing letter, but he never sent it. He knew it wouldn't accomplish a thing except create bitterness that would last forever. He had baited the hook with criticism, not with anything Meade wanted or needed.
So if just criticizing people doesn't work, what does? Well, this is a brilliant way to bait the hook properly. If you admit your own faults first, you immediately lower the other person's defenses. It's so much easier for someone to hear about their mistakes when you've already said, hey, I'm not perfect either.
Yeah, a direct attack like, you made a mistake again, just builds walls. But a humble approach, something like, I often struggle with that myself, that builds a bridge. All of a sudden, you're not their accuser. You're just a fellow traveler offering them a map. You're focusing on what they want, to keep their dignity while still getting the point across.
Now this is a master-level technique. We all have so much more faith in ideas we come up with ourselves than ideas that are just handed to us, right? So instead of trying to push your opinion on someone, you plant a seed and let them nurture it into their own conclusion. By asking questions and just offering gentle suggestions, you're basically guiding them down a path. And when they get to the end, they feel this sense of ownership. It becomes their idea, and they'll be way more committed to it than if you just told them what to do. You've baited the hook by appealing to their desire to be smart and independent.
But, and this is a really big but, Carnegie gives a powerful warning. All of these rules, all these techniques, they're totally useless without one final essential ingredient.
And this right here is the most important part of all. The secret isn't some clever trick or a magic phrase you can memorize. The real secret is your own mindset. It's having a genuine, deep-down, driving desire to truly understand and connect with other people.
Without a sincere interest in other people, these techniques just become shallow manipulation, and people will see right through it. They'll ultimately fail. But when you genuinely want to improve your relationships, the techniques they flow naturally. That desire is the engine that makes the whole thing work.
So here's the big takeaway. Every single conversation you have is a chance to practice this. Before you speak, before you act, just pause and think about the other person. Bait the hook to suit the fish. The only question left is, how are you going to use this?